Here is the press conference about the pipe bomb arrest. And I think Jeanine Pirro is here looking. Is there a bar over in that direction? Is there a bar over there somewhere? Is she like scoping out what she's going to have to drink afterwards? I don't know. And him, I think he's looking like he just found out that his girlfriend's still on Tinder. Like that's what I think he's looking at right now. But let's go ahead and listen to what Pam Blondie and all the other insane sycophants in the Trump administration have to say.
Discuss that shortly. This was the work of multiple agencies working together. This morning's operation was carried out safely and successfully. We know that there are so many.
There are. I mean, does she have a teleprompter in front of her? I mean, sometimes it's hard to stumble over words, but still, Jesus.
Many issues when you're issuing search warrants. Dangerous things can happen, and this was carried out safely and securely thanks to all of the people standing around me. They have worked tirelessly on this. Today,
so tirelessly that Kash Patel made sure that his girlfriend had extra, protection from the FBI, right? Maybe? I don't know.
This arrest happened because the Trump administration has.
Jolie's why does Kash his face off a lot? Maybe just permanent constipation. It's possible that could be why. It's that he just looks like he just has to take a massive dump, or maybe he has diarrhea and he can't figure out how to hold it in. I don't know.
Made this case a priority. The total lack of movement on this case in our nation's capital undermined the public trust of our enforcement agencies. This
did it now.
Cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came.
I'm sure if you go into that, that'll probably, and you go into the details of the investigation, that it didn't languish for 4 years. Guarantee that it didn't languish for 4 years. They're just trying to lie about it and take credit for work that was done before them that they don't want to allow Biden to take credit for. But, let's continue.
To the FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months.
How many times does she say tirelessly in this video? I don't know. Maybe there's a lot. Who knows? I would say let's do a drinking game for how many times she says tirelessly, but that would just be reckless with Jeanine Pirro on stage.
Sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness.
There was just the tip.
Just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with.
And look, if they actually do something right for once and actually, get somebody the correct person, if they actually get somebody convicted. I mean, look, they tried to indict Letitia James, and that failed today. You're supposed to be able to indict a ham sandwich, and they can't even get that right. Are they going to get this right? If this is the real person, what are the odds that they bungle this? And it screws up and he walks free, because this administration is full of idiots and morons who don't understand how the law works. But let's continue.
With ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police.
Oh, now they care about Capitol Police? Shocking.
Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust.
Aria, you haven't done a good job with most of the people in this country, I don't think, because of Donald Trump's approval rating, but
we hope that today is a significant step towards that progress.
If this is South Park, more brown would be coming on her nose right now.
We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's.
I can't understate how hard they are. What? Oh no, wrong type of.
Capital safer, and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
And maybe we won't watch the whole thing, because the main part that I wanted to watch was mostly Kash Patel's crap. So we'll see how long this goes. But this is just let's continue.
With AI,
Oh,
You
of
can
course we get
create
an
any
ad.
character you want in seconds.
This used to require huge Hollywood.
Thank you, General. When you attack,
Is it weird to me? Is it weird to y'all that he called her general? Like, she's the attorney general, but have you ever heard somebody refer to the attorney general as general? Like, to me, that's weird. Like, to me, that's not something that's... Of course, we never hear... You're not supposed to call the president your excellency either, but that's what Hernandez did. So maybe they're changing what... I mean, they're calling it the Department of War now, so what else are they changing?
attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital.
Let's rewind
Director
this again,
Patel.
because this is important. This is an important part.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And
Didn't these people all say that these people on January 6th did nothing? Like, one person puts out a pipe bomb in front of the two major political party headquarters in D.C., and they're shitting bricks. 1,600 people invade the damn Capitol building and attack our, houses of legislation, and they want to make excuses for them. This president pardons them. So where was this fervor? Where was this zeal? Where was this concern about our, where we have legislation and the nation's capital and the seat of power? Where was the concern about that when it was your sycophants that were doing that? The only reason they're doing this is because they think they can score political points against Biden. And probably also because they probably think that they could do enough job to say this wasn't a MAGA person, and as such, we're not going to take heat from it, even if they have to manipulate the data to do it. But, I mean, if I was doing a Hypocrite of the Week this week, maybe I'll just make it for Monday. This week's Hypocrite of the Week is Kash Patel because of what he just said just there. It's mind-blowingly stupid how they can say those words in the aftermath of the January 6th insurrection.
this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that...
Yeah, it was a day of love. But I guess this was a January 5th, even though they colloquially refer to him as the Jan 6th pipe bomber or whatever. This was January 5th, so I guess that's why it's not part of the day of love, right?
We will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country.
We will always refute it and combat it unless they're attacking police officers at the Capitol in defense of Donald Trump, trying to lawlessly keep his office. Then they're not going to fight it. But otherwise, they'll fight it. But if it hurts the president, they're not going to fight it at that point.
The nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual.
It should have also been public importance to keep people who assaulted cops on January 6th, locked up and put in prison. But, we all know where that went.
Individual who's now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple.
Jeff, Cash is seeing two women at the same time. Literally. Wow. That's deserving of a...
Multiple people, like multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women.
Now keep in mind, nobody died. No one was harmed because of this. People were literally harmed on January 6th, so they don't give a shit. But this performative bullshit is just bullshit. Anybody who's falling for this crap is just... You must be on some hardcore mind-altering substances. Hardcore.
Women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors.
Except for the Capitol Police officers that we screwed over, but, they're not going to thank them. They'll thank the rest of them, I guess, right?
The Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated...
And of course, there's no evidence of that. They could have been completely sifted and sorted through, and they just did it again just to whatever. Or they might have just put it, unsorted it, just so they could resort it. Again, I don't trust this administration at all, and you shouldn't either. So every time, that's the problem. Conservatives, I mean, you have to first believe that somebody actually told a lie to actually, have this apply. But again, many conservatives hear the story about the boy who cried wolf and think the moral of the lesson or the moral of the story is, if somebody's lying to you, you should still believe them just in case they're telling the truth again in the future. When in reality, if somebody lies to you repeatedly, you should no longer believe them. That's the actual story. Or the moral story is tell the truth so that people believe you when it's important.
Created numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with their U.S. attorney partners, and
Chef Greg, the song Betty Davis Eyes makes song Kash Patel's Eyes. He's got Kash Patel's eyes, and he'll see you at the same time as seeing you. Or something like that.
Came to this conclusion today, and that is why we were able to safely secure.
Today, I'm sure the conclusion wasn't made today. I'm sure the conclusion was made prior, and they made plans to get to the person who was seized today. But, assuming it's the right person, which, again, they can't even indict Letitia James again. So, and you can indict ham sandwiches. So,
this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of.
I thought he just said we did it today. Now he says you can't do it in haste. And now he's criticizing the Biden administration for taking 4 years to, and doing nothing with it. But again, it can't be done in haste. So which is it? Again, another example of this administration in this administration's inability to keep their story straight.
Law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy.
Funny. Considering the fact that this administration pardoned people who assaulted cops. But, don't let the facts get in the way of you making a bullshit point.
This execution was...
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. No haste, tell ICE that. Yeah, absolutely. ICE is acting in much haste. Although, I guess the people that ICE are grabbing are not people who built bombs. The people that ICE are grabbing are people that build houses.
Flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team.
And no black people died. Shocking.
Behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process. As we have committed under this Attorney General, we are the most transparent law enforcement operation
Yeah.
in U.S. history.
Transparently racist. If that's the transparency you wanted. And I'm waiting for him to now we want to bring on board, now bring on stage Dan Bongholio, and he'll be like, I need TP for my butthole. Sorry, had to do it.
We are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent, and that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will...
And in the courts of law where you can't even indict somebody that you've had your sights on for a while. But, hey, who am I to judge, right?
Divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible, while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve.
Yeah, we are the most transparent administration in law enforcement ever, but you can't release anything from the Pentagon unless, we tell you it's okay. Yeah, as Josh says, if you have to say it. Yeah, exactly. If you have to say, trust me, guys, we're really transparent. No, don't look over there. Don't look over there. But I'm like touching something about that did not look right. Once I looked at it in frame, ugh.
Most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise.
I mean, Pam might be used to that because, I'm sure Donald Trump is likely to have grabbed by the hoo-ha, right? Because that's what he likes to do. Anyway.
To secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods.
Americans go out free in their neighborhoods as long as they're white. As long as they're not Hispanic or Filipino or somebody else that we're trying to deport, they're free to go out in their communities, right? With my eyes, big crazy open like this and one of them this way.
And that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital. And
unless they're not white.
they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington Field Office, and I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
I am Cornholio.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Because my job's on the line, so thank you. I appreciate it. I need to grift some more.
Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who
Bureau looks bored as F. No, it looked like just then. Let me slide back a second or two. Because it looked like something else.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it.
Is she staring at his ass right now? Like, is Janine Pirro like, man, I got to get me some of that scrawny butt?
Appreciate it. Thank you for the kind
there
words,
she is again, checking out his butt again.
Director, I appreciate it.
Is Dan Bongholio just a piece of meat to you, Janine Pirro? I mean, come on.
It. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement.
Like pardoning people who committed crimes? Who, like, pardoning, guy who is responsible for drugs being sent into this country? Like that.
This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort.
So it's like they let Susie, they let him out. Oh no! If Dan Bongiorno or whatever sees his shadow, he gets six months more of fascism, right?
The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere gratitude to this attorney general.
I'm waiting for one of them to misspeak to just completely blow their entire line out the water that, it wasn't just, done this year.
General and this president for allowing us.
Exactly, Lady J. Like scrubbing Trump names from the Epstein file. That's what they've been working on to make sure that Trump and any other Republican who might get in trouble for being on the Epstein's list, the client list, can no longer get in trouble. Because I'm sure when Pam Bondi told us that they actually had the Epstein files on her desk, I'm sure she did. And then she started reading it and she was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Someone needs to redact these stat. So
that's the latitude. I spoke with Ms. Bondi very early when we, maybe day 2, and I said, we're going to get this guy. And she said, yes, you are. And we did. I want to also thank, he's not here, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who we deal with often as well, who could not have been more supportive. Whatever process we need, Judge Janine, Todd, and Attorney General Bond.
She's like, I was not expecting to be here for a full-on 6 minutes, let alone 20. I don't want to stay in here and talk about anything. I need my next drink.
They were there. All you had to do, they were a phone call away. And their team was amazing. We actually never had to make that phone call because they were always responsive. Thank you, Judge, as well. You were amazing. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset.
But you can attack police officers. You can, commit acts of graffiti at the Capitol. You can do all that sort of thing. As long as you're doing it in the name of Donald Trump, you get a pardon. So there's a little asterisk there. Because if you, came into the Capitol and put 2 bombs, but they were bombs that are meant to help the president, I'm sure the president will be like, pardon, they were just misunderstood. It was fake news, whatever. But, again, let's not be fooled by them.
Not going to happen.
Kimchi goes, good Lord, they're all picking up that Orange Folius's kindergarten cadence. Not surprised.
We're going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way.
They all need to start doing the hand movements too, so they can all become like, the pushing together or pulling apart move. Or there's always the YMCA double jerk dance too, right?
He was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track him to the end of the earth. It wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia. I want to thank the team. They were amazing. They never let this go.
And that's if you lived in Virginia, I mean, you'd think you'd move. But I guess he was, 30 and still living with his parents, so maybe he didn't have the ability to do so, but still.
Again, Attorney General Bond.
Big Hook accordion champions, yes. Although none can beat Weird Al, but they're all like trying to imitate him, I guess.
For your incredible support, Director Patel, Judge.
Without all of you, I'm kissing your asses because I need y'all to support me because I don't want to lose my job.
I know they're giving me a lot of unnecessary credit, but make no mistake.
Why can't they just arrest the guy and let him say go before a jury? Because they have to attack Biden, because that's the majority of what they have to do in this administration is try and say, Biden was bad, this is why we're better, and then try and manipulating you into believing their bullshit. So that's why they have to, I mean, all administrations do this. I mean, whenever an administration has a big takedown like this, you do have a big press conference and everybody applauds and pats each other in the back and says how great of a job they're doing. But my point here is not necessarily to go over what there's, because we all know what they're saying is pretty much full of crap. And if they happen to be right this time, great, stop clocks and all. But it's just showing the sheer hypocrisy of this administration and what they're doing.
They were intimately involved in this and were there for all of those supportive mechanisms.
Big Hook, did they find a fall guy? I wouldn't put it past them. They might have been like, oh, well, this person here who actually did it, that person is a Trump supporter. We can't do that, so let's find somebody else to throw up instead.
And I deeply appreciate it. The man whose team did the work is the assistant director in charge of our Washington field office.
Tim goes, anyone else starting to think the suspect has a better than 50-50 chance of being innocent? I think he has a better than a 50-50 chance of getting off because of the ineptitude of, if he did it, I think it's more likely that he'll get off because they'll find some way to bungle the case and some attorney's going to come in and be like, rip their case to shreds and they won't know how to handle it. And then they'll just blame the attorney instead of blaming themselves for being a bunch of dumbasses.
Darren Cox. Darren's got some comments, and Darren has some more details on the case he can provide. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Darren Cox. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the Washington Field Office. Today's arrest of the alleged D.C. pipe bomber is a...
I'm rather impressed that they're actually using the word alleged. I mean, maybe him, I'm not that shocked about, but the other one saying it, I'm like, oh, they're actually, using proper terminology. Maybe they realize that they can't speak just so off the cuff, and because if they do, they're going to poison the jury well and make it harder for them to get a conviction because of a mistrial.
Momentous day for the American public, for the FBI, for our Joint Terrorism Task Force, or the JTTF, and our partners, the U.S. Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and ATF. We've also had a large number of other federal, state, and local departments that have worked on this investigation. And last but not least, the U.S. Attorney's Office. We all worked hand in hand to solve this investigation. This has been a long week in D.C. After the terrorist attack last week, the grit and determination of the FBI and our law enforcement partners is an example to the American public.
Maybe they waited to actually come forward with this arrest because maybe they knew, even if he is the guy, maybe they knew that, he didn't realize that they were on their tail and they needed to wait to break up some other story. Like, the fact that Hegseth is now shown to have misused Signal in the report that came out that he refused to come and get an interview for. Maybe they needed it to release this to distract from the whole murdering of people in the middle of the Caribbean or whatever. Maybe they needed this to kind of say, oh, well, it was the Trump administration that granted the guy that shot up and murdered a National Guards person in DC, he was granted asylum by the Trump administration, so they came up with this now to be like, oh, well, this is going to solve everything because here we go, we finally arrested this guy. They probably timed it so that they could have a little ace in the hole card as a distraction to pay no attention to the man behind the corner or to her. And then, of course, there's the obvious continued, we need to distract from the fact that, Donald Trump and the Epstein files. There's that too. So,
of what cooperation, partnership, and selfless service can accomplish. The amount of effort
Lady J, is this the guy from the Biden administration that never got fired? Maybe. It could be. Maybe we'll look that up after this. But then again, you know, maybe that's the thing that goes against. So if this guy was left with the Biden administration, is everyone else saying that he was not doing his job until Trump came into office? Is that what they're saying?
FBI and our partners devoted to identifying the pipe bomber cannot be overstated. It is the resolve and determination of our investigators that ultimately led to the identification and the arrest of this suspect. We all know pipe bombs are dangerous.
No.
Not because of the potential loss of life, damage to property.
Christine, these people remind me of my late husband who tried to divorce me but was too incompetent to get the job done. I have another question about that, but I'm going to wait till after I'm recording that. Hold on.
Or injury that they can cause, but also because they are tools that terrorize our community.
Let's forget all the terrorizations of the community that's taking place by ICE. Let's forget that. But pipe bombs are the tools that terrorize the community. More communities this year have been terrorized by ICE than these two unexploded pipe bombs terrorized. Let's just make it clear.
Fortunately, these bombs did not explode, although they certainly could have. But make no mistake, the alleged pipe bomber did terrorize our community.
Fine. And again, if he's guilty, lock him up if you can, and put him in prison if you can. But don't pretend you care about the terrorization of communities now whilst ICE is doing their bullshit.
Today's actions underscore the long memory and the long reach of the FBI and our partners. I know some people had given up on finding the perpetrator, but not the FBI and not our partners. We do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent.
Doesn't that go against what they just said? I mean, the rest of them, like Pirro and Bondi and whatever, and Cash, they were basically saying that the last administration had given up. But he's saying the FBI didn't give up. So again, they can't keep their stories straight. Thank you, Fancy, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you.
Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team continued to churn through massive amounts of data. And 5 years, we do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent. Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team continued to churn through massive amounts of data and tips that we used to identify this suspect.
Again, although it had been 5 years, our team continued to churn through data, completely contradicting what the other people said. There you go. He has just contradicted what the rest of the people from the administration are saying. He is basically saying that the administration that he's working for is 100% full of crap. Period.
I want to thank Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino for their leadership and for providing us the resources and the personnel to reevaluate all of the data that we had. We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, thank you for your support, thank you for your passion, and thank you for your investment in this investigation. From me, on behalf of
their investment, did they have money riding on it or something? They bought stocks or bonds or something? What?
The investigators, the Washington field office, and all of our partners, thank you. I'd also like to thank Judge Pirro. Judge, your team and you are absolutely amazing. You're the type of prosecutors and U.S. attorney, that all of the investigators across the country want to work with. They're hard-nosed and they're aggressive, and thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the American public for providing tips and leads, not just on this case, but every day on cases across the country that are being solved by law enforcement. And finally, I want to commend all of the members of the Washington field office, and most specifically, the investigative team.
I mean, this guy, at least, is, you know, seems to be the most reliable of the bunch. But again, he's contradicting what the administration says, so they're probably like kicking themselves, like, God damn it, we didn't get him to say what we wanted him to say.
Their diligence and persistence led to this arrest today. And they are absolutely, totally dedicated not only to this case, but every case they work. So thank you, Washington Field Office. Last, I will say our work is not done. The FBI will continue to pursue every lead and use every resource that we have to ensure that the D.C. pipe bomber is brought to justice. Thank you.
Did she whisper in his ear, "You didn't read from the script. You made us look like fools."
You keep hearing the words partnership and team, and that's what we are. And we could not do this without our U.S. Attorney, Janine.
There's no I in team, but there is a T, and there's a T in Trump, and that's why we were successful.
Pirro. Janine, from day one, has worked tirelessly for our country and for our nation's capital.
She's been, as long as you put a bottle in front of me, I'll do whatever work you want.
It's my honor to introduce my friend, U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. And you have been listening to a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitude. The reason that we're thanking each other to the extent that...
I mean, she looks like she just constantly has just a metal rod just shoved completely up her whatever replaced her spine or whatever. Just like...
we are today is because...
That's Janine Pirro? Really? Thank you for letting us know.
Because we have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter.
In the middle of the night, I go drinking in my sleep.
We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who...
Kimchi, whose wine? What wine? Where the hell did I dine? Do you drink like I do? That's the song that was playing in the background of the thing of the parody from WGSO that called me liberal dandruff, which is why I threw that line in "Believe Me and You Feel Like I Do" in that parody that I made. Anyway,
never give it up.
Thank you, Bethany, for the 99-cent super sticker. Appreciate you.
You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are...
And I'm so drunk right now, I don't even think I realize what they do. But you might, and somebody does. Can you let me know? Bartender, bring me another drink. Another round. Round it, everybody.
Incredible. And this case is big. 4 years, 10 months, and 28...
Wait, she's wearing a scarf to hide the bruises. The bruises or like the hickey from Bonholio or whatever? Like, did Bonholio give her hickeys and that's why she needed to wear that or whatever? I mean, I don't want to kink shame, but...
days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC.
So it placed one bomb in 2 locations? That's really impressive. You should get him to work for the military. If you can strike fear with one bomb in 2 different places, that's nuts.
And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative...
And look at Cox's eyes now. He's just kind of like looking over, like she's lying. He knows. Like, watch Cox's eyes as you're listening to the drunken mess herself.
Efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempt...
She's like, are they buying this bullshit? Are they really buying this bullshit?
...malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. You know, folks, this case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is...
1 billion pieces of data.
huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack.
She kind of does look like the one from Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, like, make the arrest!
So much of this evidence was very specific, but a lot of it was also very general. For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase.
And you think that took just a few months to do? And that it wasn't going on over the last few years or so?
Of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect. And make no mistake, it was this administration, it was this president who made the decision that we were going to use all of our efforts to get it done. And
I don't believe you. I believe it was going on for longer than that, including with the testifying of the person from the D.C. office right there behind you, who's sitting there now. Like he just said that, and he's looking at us like, this bitch. Listen to this asshole right here. I can't confront her because I don't want to lose my job, but I know she's full of shit, and you should too because of his facial. Just look at how he's looking at her right now. He knows she's lying.
get it done.
He's like, I've been working on this thing for 4 or 5 years now. Don't you make me look bad. Don't throw me under the bus. Even though you have me on stage, still, I've been working on this for longer than you want to say. I just can't say in front of you that you're wrong because I'm going to lose my job.
Finally, let me say this.
Like now he's looking like, ugh, I'm a beaten man.
Today begins the formal process of accountability, where this defendant will begin his journey through the criminal justice system.
And I will stop at nothing except for several drinks every day to make sure that he doesn't actually get convicted because I'm going to be terrible at my job.
And I pledge to you that the United States Attorney's Office will take this case across the finish line. Again,
now,
thank you to the...
Just because it's taken across the finish line, it doesn't mean they're going to win. I don't know if you know how finish lines work, but there's most people who cross the finish line lose. Only the first place person wins. Or if you have different groups of people, you have several groups of first place people, whatever. But you understand the point. It's not a great analogy.
Incredible work of the FBI, to the Attorney General, and to our local partners as well. This is a job that I think was well done.
Even though it's not finished. And you have plenty of time to bungle it up. See how they bungle it.
Thank you.
She was like, I want to say something else, but here comes Pam, so I can't interrupt her anymore. Oh, well.
President Trump's directive to all of us was to not only make America safe again, but D.C., and to make it safe and beautiful.
Yes, Trump made D.C. so safe that, two National Guards people got shot. That's how safe D.C. is.
We could not have done that without our partnership with Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith. It is my honor to
Oh, Mario doesn't like Mayor Bowser.
Introduce Metropolitan Police Department Chief Smith.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. I am Chief Pamela Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, and FBI Director Patel for having me here today. For nearly 5 years.
Now, let me read off the script that they wrote for me because, they can't, they basically wouldn't let me up here unless they knew I was going to follow the script.
The agencies standing here today have worked together under the leadership of the FBI to locate our suspect who is responsible for the 2 pipe bombs that were placed around our city. MPD members assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force have supported this case from the beginning.
They've supported the case from the beginning. Not since this year, but from the beginning. I guess that slipped through the cracks.
That supports include
They're probably sitting there going, I hope they don't realize that what they're saying is completely going against what we've told them earlier in this speech. But, you know, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Looking, reviewing, and going through countless, probably thousands of hours of CCTV footage from around the DNC and RNC headquarters, and they followed up on hundreds and thousands of leads from members of our communities. What I will say today is that Washingtonians can rest easier today knowing that the suspect responsible for this act is now in custody.
Now, I mean, look, since, you know, obviously putting down 2 pipe bombs is clearly a terrible thing to do. But were the people in Washington, D.C. really that stressed about this whole thing? Were they really that paranoid and worried about, oh, what if another pipe bomb happens like the 2 that were put down before the January 6th insurrection? Like, were they really that afraid that something like nothing has happened for years on the laying of the pipe bomb? Not the laying of the pipe, but the laying of the pipe bomb. Nothing has been done since then. So do you think that the people in D.C. have been constantly worried for the last few years, last 5 years, over whatever? Do you really think that they're sitting here, you know, oh, what if he comes back and lays another bomb? No, they're not. That's just dumb. Anyway, let's continue.
This morning's arrest is yet another reminder that committing any act with the intention of harming the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia will result in your arrest. The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Capitol Police, and certainly the prosecutors at our U.S. Attorney's Office.
Tim, it was just a couple of pipe bombs, not like it was a laptop.
Will go to the furthest length. I heard somebody say to the end of the earth, but thank God we didn't have to go to the end of the earth today, that we were able to bring this subject into custody. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of the agencies who are standing behind me today on a job well done. I will turn it over now to Attorney General Bondi.
We're going to take some questions. Just remember, as I said in the beginning, this is ongoing. It's very active. The search warrants are still being executed.
It's ongoing. You know, we still have to manipulate the case, right?
Many charges potentially to come. So just keep that in mind when asking your questions.
Jake, Fox News. So you said it had been nearly 5 years. We all know that, and that you said there have been no new evidence. So can you say anything about the evidence that actually did lead to this arrest? And then secondarily, you're talking about additional charges possibly. Can you say what those you might be considering, or terrorism charges, or what?
We can't discuss new charges, of course, yet. Ongoing. But what I will say is this is why this was so incredibly important. More than any other case, this is in our nation's capital where this happened. And now
it's in our nation's capital where, you know, we just pardoned 1,600 people for committing a crime there, but this one we went after.
Thanks to the FBI, we know that this defendant was living just miles away from here in Virginia.
And hadn't done squat since then.
Yeah. So as to the evidence,
which is another reason which makes me question the veracity of the charge, simply because of the fact, why would he just do that on that particular day and then nothing else? Unless there was something else involved, unless there was something else that they don't want us knowing.
In the case, I'm going to let Director Patel take that, but it's still very active and very ongoing.
Thank you, General. And as I stated earlier, and as the General's already...
Again, thank you, General. And as it's weird. Like, I've never heard the Attorney General referred to as General. Have any of y'all heard of the Attorney General just being called General?
Reiterated. Our job is to provide full accountability in the court of law with...
Our job is to provide full accountability in the law. Has he been dipping into some of Janine's sauce? You know, sounds a little sus, right?
Judge Pirro's team. And in order to do that, we have to preserve the chain of custody and evidentiary value. What I will say generally is that when you go through 3 million lines of information, y'all can...
When you go through 3 million lines of information. When you go through 3 million lines of coke, lines of information.
And think about the amount of cell phone data that has to be ingested and triangulated and...
Ingested, huh?
dumped and received. You also have to think of just sheer human ingenuity. We brought in a team of experts who were the best at what they do in their specific fields to reevaluate that evidence, to dive back in, and to not come back with a no for an answer until they had found the suspect. And when you develop evidence, you get a search warrant. And when you get a search warrant, you get an address. And when you get an address, you hit the house. And that's what we did.
Sadie, Wall Street Journal.
Hi there. So what can you tell us about this person's motivations and whether they were driven by politics or for any other reason why?
Right now it's ongoing. Again, we just executed the search warrant.
It's ongoing. They don't know. They don't have a motive, but it's ongoing.
Early this morning, it's ongoing. But America's safer, DC's safer because he's in custody.
Again, he hasn't done anything since, as that we're aware of, since the January 5th of 2021. But hey, we're safer. How many of the people that were pardoned from the January 6th attack on the Capitol have now been rearrested for other crimes, either that took place before or afterwards? But we're safer.
Mary Margaret, Daily Wire.
Thank you so much. So, any theory on why Kamala Harris has never mentioned coming within 20 feet of being assassinated, and any news on why her Secret Service team took so long to find this bomb at the DNC?
No, but what I will tell you is that evidence has been sitting there.
Was that OAN? Is that who that was from?
Collecting dust. This wasn't a...
Show me the dust that was on there. Show me the pictures of the data that was on a desk collecting dust before, I believe that it was actually collecting dust.
New tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration, Deputy Director Bongino and
Look at Cox
Director
over there,
Patel.
like she's
I
lying
watched
again.
them from day one come in here and say, we are going to solve this crime. And they did, working hand in hand with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our great attorneys.
Oh, she didn't even say this. She can't even say it straight without having to clear her throat.
ABC.
General Bondi, Director Patel, or...
Oh, there's somebody else saying General Bond. It's weird. Again, is this just, am I just not remembering that people called attorneys general, or is it just me? I don't understand this.
Deputy Director Bongino, can you describe, was there a particular moment where the evidence is coming in and it's starting to look like progress is being made? What was the moment that you knew that you were...
What was your eureka moment?
On the road to solving the case?
Dan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I was smiling at you because I certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" Called me on the phone. I said, "Oh boy, why? Is this bad news?" And he said, "I think we got him." What exactly that tip was, we're going to have to pass.
I can't tell you what the tip was, but I can remember the conversation like it's yesterday.
On that for right now, while obviously we're in the prologue of a long book. This is just the beginning.
It's a long book, but it was only started in January of this year. But it's a long book, right? You believe them? We don't.
This is not the end of the investigation, as you all well know, having reported on these for a long time. There's interviews to be conducted. The search warrant processing scene is not even done. So we're at the early stages. So that's the only reason I hesitate to tell you what the exact tip was. But yes, that was absolutely the moment, and it was due to the...
Janine's like, I'll show you what the tip was. It came from Dan.
Diligent and incredible work of a team in the Washington field office that came in and just scoured through this over and over and over and over again.
Dean, nobody wants to talk about Donnie's tip. That's just gross.
Oh, my. Was it forensic? Was it a phone call? Was it something about a vehicle?
We'll just leave it generally forensic evidence. Yeah, it's fair enough to say.
Excuse me? How long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the...
I'd rather not say how long ago it was because it would basically hurt our lie that we're trying to tell that only this administration worked on this. That's why he doesn't want to tell you, right?
Ongoing interview process, and I don't want to...
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
I just want to add something.
Can I say one thing that's going to ruin my case, but I need to make a point because I need more camera time and more voice time on camera?
To tell you how thorough this team was. That moment that was kind of like the aha moment, That
The aha moment. What do you take on me? And I'll tell you too. Anyway.
wasn't the end. This team continued to work and work and work to get every bit of evidence that we could get. We didn't stop at that moment, and that's a testament to the fact that the team wanted every possible piece
We wanted to cross every I and dot every T
of evidence that they could gather.
One more? What's your motion?
Should we do one more, Kelly O'Donnell, NBC?
Thank you so much. Have you
Wait, they actually let someone from NBC ask a question, and that's the last one? Wow.
Covered the notable sneakers. Have you done surveillance of this suspect from that aha moment to when you exercised the search warrants today? And obviously this happened on January 5th into January 6th. How should the public look at this case separate from all of the cases related to what transpired on January 6th and the president's subsequent pardons?
Good question, finally.
I'm going to let Director Patel take the evidence part. We have to be careful again. You've asked very good investigative questions, but this is ongoing, very active. But America should feel safer today. We say a pipe bomb. These are bombs. These were live, active bombs
that didn't go off, that didn't kill anybody, and there's no evidence that if the person who was charged with it did do it, was planning on doing it with anything else. So again, I don't quite understand why. You know, I'm sure the evidence points to somebody or whatever, but still, why would we feel more safe when the last time he did something was in 2021?
were placed in Washington, D.C. Director.
Thank you. This shows you how much detail you and the American public have paid attention to this case. Of course, we analyzed everything that you're seeing on this poster board and information that you will see through the formal charging process and court process. But we want to let that evidence speak for
the formal charging process and the court process. Like, he's very wound up right there. It looks like he's gonna look off in both ways, and just someone needs to rewind up his little windy toy
itself, because again, we do not want to disrupt the accountability that we owe the American public. Yes, you heard about the cell phone tower data. Yes, you heard about, of course, we surveil individuals who we think we're going to blow up American citizens. But how and when we do it and why we do it is not something we're ever going to reveal unless the Department of Justice deems it fit at trial. So we appreciate your attention to detail and your hardcore investigative work, but you can just imagine some of those same skills were being utilized by this FBI, this Department of Justice, or part.
And the FBI, the last administration, because we all know, including the words from Cox, that they did not stop during the Biden administration investigating this.
Partners, the ATF, and everybody across the board, and this is an interagency win for the American people.
Radar before.
Thank you all. And one more thing, this is the best birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today.
So give him some teepee for his bunghole.
Holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Wait. Did she actually say happy holidays?
And some of those.
Radar before.
Birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
She said happy holiday. How much time is left in Pam Bondi's tenure now that she said the evil words of happy holidays? Oh no, Pam Bondi's time might be limited at the White House. So yeah. There's the Q&A session about the arrest of the alleged pipe bomber from Jan 5th of 2021. So do we believe what they say? Of course, we believe nothing this administration says. If they're able to prove their case in court and he actually was the guilty person, good for them for actually doing something right for once. That being said, you understand why many of us will have lots of hesitancy to actually trust the words coming out of this administration, because they are probably the least trustworthy administration of all of administrations, and this includes Nixon. So